Now we shall move on to part 2 of today's lesson, which commences with the model reading. I have informed you the purpose yesterday. It is done by the teacher so that a student learns how to read the text with all expressions, pause, pronunciation, etc. And therefore pay attention. Kindly take page number 5, and the reading will continue from page 5 to page 7 till the end of the lesson. Please listen to the reading with utmost attention, and I expect you to keep your pencils over the text, and then please follow the manner in which the text is read. Page number 5. But in the hearts of all who lived in that solitary house in the middle of the valley, there was a single hope: help from God. Don't be so upset, even though this seems like a total loss. Remember, no one dies of hunger. That's what they say. No one dies of hunger. All through the night, Lenko thought only of his one hope: the help of God, whose eyes, as he had instructed, see everything, even what is deep in one's conscience. Lenko was an ox of a man, working like an animal in the fields, but still he knew how to write. The following Sunday at daybreak he began to write a letter, which he himself would carry to town and place in the mail. It was nothing less than a letter to God. God, he wrote, if you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. I need 100 pesos in order to sow my field again and to live until the crop comes, because the hailstorm ... He wrote to God on the envelope, put the letter inside, and still trouble, went to town. At the post office he placed a stamp on the letter and dropped it into the mailbox. One of the employees, who was a postman and also helped at the post office, went to his boss laughing heartily and showed him the letter to God. Never in his career as a postman had he known that address. The postmaster, a fat, amiable fellow, also broke out laughing. But almost immediately he turned serious and, tapping the letter on his desk, commented, "What faith! I wish I had the faith of the man who wrote this letter." Starting up a correspondence with God. So, in order not to shake the writer's faith in God, the postmaster came up with an idea: answer the letter. But when he opened it, it was evident that to answer it he needed something more than goodwill, ink and paper. But he stuck to his resolution. He asked for money from his employees. He himself gave part of his salary, and several friends of his were obliged to give something for an act of charity. It was impossible for him to gather together the 100 pesos, so he was able to send the farmer only a little more than half. He put the money in an envelope addressed to Lenko, and with it a letter containing only a single word as a signature: God. The following Sunday, Lenko came a bit earlier than usual to ask if there was a letter for him. It was the postman himself who handed the letter to him, while the postmaster, experiencing the contentment of a man who has performed a good deed, looked on from his office. Lenko showed not the slightest surprise on seeing the money. Such was his confidence. But he became angry when he counted the money. God could not have made a mistake, nor could he have denied Lenko what he had requested. Immediately Lenko went up to the window to ask for paper and ink. On the public writing table, he started to write with much wrinkling of his brow, caused by the effort he had to make to express his ideas. When he finished, he went to the window to buy a stamp, which he licked and then affixed to the envelope with a blow of his fist. The moment the letter fell into the mailbox, the postmaster went to open it. It said, "God, of the money that I asked for, only 70 pesos reached me. Send me the rest since I need it very much. But don't send it to me through the mail because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks." Lenko. Having listened to the model reading by the teacher, it's time for personal reading. Kindly keep the textbook open. Please read the text at least twice. If the ambient at home is quiet, please read it aloud. If not, read it in silence. Try to read aloud once and in silence once. And as you read, please underline the difficult words. The words whose meaning you are not familiar, or even the words which are familiar but you are not able to articulate the meaning in English. I'm sure you completed the personal reading, and in the process of reading the text, you have picked up difficult words. I would like to list a detailed list of words which might be difficult for some of you and for most of you. I would like to read aloud those words and display the meaning for you so that it is easy for you to understand the text when I explain tomorrow. So it's time for you to learn the meaning, get to know how the word has to be pronounced, get familiarized with the word and the meaning, so that when the explanation is done tomorrow, it becomes easy for you to understand the text. We shall take page number 3. We continue. The first word is solitary, which means alone. The second word is upset, which means worried. The third word is through, which means from the beginning to the end. Number 4, instructed, which means directed. Number 5, conscience, which means the inner sense of right or wrong, the inner voice of God. Number 6, still, which means yet. Number 7, daybreak, which means sunrise. And number 8, pesos, which means the currency of several Latin, the South American countries. Envelope means a paper cover to keep the letter. Inside means internal part. Troubled means disturbed. Stamp means the postage in the context of the text. Dropped means put in. Employees means workers. Boss means the master, the head. Showed means displayed. Career means profession. Amiable means friendly and pleasant. Fellow means person. Immediately means at once. Tapping means thumping. Commented means told. Faith means belief. Correspondence means communicating through letters. Shake means to move. Idea means a plan. Opened means unsealed. Evident means clear. Needed means required. Goodwill means nice feeling. Stuck means remained firm. Resolution means firm determination. Several means many. Obliged means asked to do a favor. Act means work. Charity means help given to the poor and the needy. Impossible means not possible. Together means with one another. Addressed means written to special name. Containing means having. Signature means sign. Earlier means before the beginning of a period of time. Usual means common. Experiencing means feeling something. Contentment means satisfaction. Performed means done. Deed means act. Slightest means not even a little. Surprise means astonishment. Confidence means trust. Counted means calculated the total number. Mistake means fault. Denied means refused. Requested means the act of asking something. Wrinkling means make or cause lines or folds in the skin. Brow means the part of the face above the eyes. Cost means to make something happen. Effort means try. Express means to show feeling or opinion. Licked means strike with tongue. Affixed means glued. Fist means closed palm. Moment means a particular point of time. Need means to require. Bunch means group. Crook means cheats. So we have come to the end of today's class. I began with a thought for the day in and through a narration of an incident, and I told you, you become great by being humble. Then I went on to explain the text that we have read yesterday, and I gave you explanation of the text, after which we did the model reading from pages 5 to 7, and there was a time given for you to do the personal reading and to pick up difficult words, after which I gave you a huge list of words, difficult words with their meaning. So with this, we have just finished the process of learning today, and now it's time to evaluate what we have learned from 9 o'clock till now, from the beginning till now. And therefore certain questions are posed for you. You can take your copies and try to answer them. And when you get the answer right, which means you have understood the lesson better, I will read the questions for you and please answer the question. As you listen, you please answer the question. Write down the answers. Did the rainfall fulfill Lenko's expectations? What could one see in the northeast? What was the thought for the day? How was the faith of Lenko to test? Why did Lenko compare the hailstones with the plague of locusts? Attempt to summarize the second part of the lesson, which was read by the teacher today. Try to recall 5 new words that you have learned during the entire duration of the class today. You can take maybe 5 minutes to complete this work. If you're not able to find an answer, after the class, go back to the text and try to work out the answers. At the end of the class, it is good to have something to do at home task. Only 2 things are given to you today. The first thing is, do you trust in God as that of Lenko? If you trust in God, substantiate your stand with proper reasons. If you don't trust in God, you should also substantiate your stand with reasons for not trusting God. That is question number 1. Question number 2 is write down the summary of the text we have seen today in your copies. Paragraph by paragraph, try to summarize the meaning, what you understood from the explanation, from what is being read. Try to write in your own words the summary of those paragraphs in simple words, need not be complicated. And that has to be submitted. It's time to recapitulate what we have seen so far today. The house of Lenko was situated on the top of a low hill, which gave an aerial view of the river and the field. And he found signs of good harvest. And since Lenko was very familiar with the field, very intimate with the field, he knew that the field just needed one particular rain so that the harvest which is promised will be realized. And as per his prediction, the rain began to come down, which was approved by his wife while she was preparing the food. And when they began to eat their meal, the downpour came down, and he was so happy that his dream, that his prediction has come true. And that joy lasted only for a few minutes, because it began with big drops of rain, but later on, storm began to take hold of the situation, accompanied by hailstones. The hailstones was a matter of joy for the kids of Lenko for some time. They thought it was all frozen pearls. They began to collect, they began to feel, they began to play around. But the hailstones went on for an hour. Thus, it destroyed every leaf that was present in the field. When the hailstones stopped, he just compared the plague of locusts, which at least left few leaves, but hailstones destroyed every bit of crop that promised a good harvest for Lenko. And therefore, Lenko was totally shattered. All his hopes became a big question mark. His soul was filled with sorrow. The whole tone of joy turned into sorrow. And in the second part, with the explanation, we have seen how he changes. He says, my hope is in God. And therefore, he was just not a farmer. He also knew how to read and write. And therefore, he decided, my hope is in God. The future is in his hands. Therefore, he decided to write a letter. He took a piece of paper, wrote a letter to God, asking God to send him 100 pesos so that he could buy seeds again, sow and get a crop and try to take care of his family. He wrote a letter, went to the post office, dropped it, and the postman picked up the letter, and he was astonished to see an address which he had never seen in life, a letter to God. So the letter was opened in the presence of the postmaster. The postmaster also laughed at the beginning, but he was taken up by the faith of this man. He said, I should learn from this man to believe in God. And when they saw the situation of Lenko, they decided to contribute out of their goodwill. So they pooled the money together, and they managed only 70 pesos. And the 70 pesos were sealed in an envelope, and it was kept ready for Lenko to return. Lenko went back after a week, and the postmaster himself gave the letter. And when he opened, he was very confident that God would reply to his letter. His request will be met. When he opened, he found only 70 pesos, and therefore immediately took another piece of paper from the office, wrote a letter saying, God, 30 pesos are missing. So please do not send the balance 30 pesos by mail. Please don't send it by mail, because the group of employees who are working in the post office seem to be a bunch of crooks. Hope the detailed recapitulation has helped you to recollect what we have seen today. So God bless you until we meet tomorrow. Goodbye. Have a nice day.